Good morning, everybody. J.R. Fisher here. Welcome to Friday morning. What is it, the 29th? I think it is the 29th, if I check correctly. I'm trying to look around at all my sources for day of the week. Hey, we're going to have a great session today. We're going to talk about spying on you, okay? So you're going to learn about it, maybe how to protect yourself a little bit. Pretty interesting stuff. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Hit that big red button down there that says subscribe. It's red because it's trying to warn you that you haven't subscribed. So click it, turn it gray. Don't forget to ring the bell. Turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every time I go live or if I upload a video. Man, what an exciting day today. Hey, we're all alive. We're all here. We're all working on stuff we want to work on. Pretty darn good day, I think. I think we're all pretty lucky. And I want to talk about the spying stuff, and that this can be business. This can be personal. It's gotten to be a big thing now. There's so much identity theft. There's so much stuff going on. I think it's time to kind of step back and kind of try to be a little bit safe. I want to upsize my screen just a touch here. So people are spying on you. I mean, that's just a fact. That's the way it is. When we hear the word spy, we're usually thinking of the Cold War era or something like that, or this cloak and dagger type spies. But really, we're in the digital age now. And when we say that somebody is actually spying on you, we're talking about online. That's where they do it now. That's where it's done. That's where they can kind of hide. Excuse me. And if somebody is spying on you, well, let's put it this way. Somebody is spying on you. That's fact, okay? It's a matter of how much and what they're seeing, and that's what we want to kind of protect. So what kind of online spies are there? Well, I'm going to kind of break it down into four major categories. You've got advertising networks, okay? You've got internet service providers. You got the government, they're spying on you, and you've got cyber criminals. So it kind of breaks down into those four components. So it's really important that you kind of understand what each one of them is doing and why they're doing it. Now, I'll pick the government, for example. There's been government leaked documents that the National Security Administration, and that sounds like such a positive thing, doesn't it? National Security Administration. And guys, I want to also, before I get too deep into this, I want to let you know to use that chat box, ask questions. Give me input. Tell me what your weather is. Introduce yourself, whatever it is. And this is true also if you are not watching this live. Make sure you use that comment section below, because I come back and I answer all those comments. I talk to you guys. I meet some really cool people. And one other thing you can do is give me a thumbs up. That's very helpful too. But anyhow, let's get into this, okay? So the NSA, it sounds really good, but what they do is they will collect your private data. This could be, messages you're sending. It could be emails. It could be traffic that's passing undersea through fiber optic cables. It could be cell phone communications. Any locations outside of the U.S., they're pretty on top of that. And this is all perfectly legal, by the way. They can actually spy on you without your permission. They can actually do this. Now, of course, the U.S. government isn't the only government in the world that's doing this, okay? They're all doing this stuff. They all spy on their citizens. China's pretty famous for it. They spy on their citizens. And the most overt when it comes to actual government moderation is China. It looks at its citizens' activity online, but governments on every continent employ methods for spying on their people. They want to know what their people are doing. And I guess to a certain degree, they kind of have to. They want to figure out if anybody's doing stuff to, overthrow the government or do anything terrible. They got to know about that. And let's also talk about cyber criminals, because this is the one that you're going to hear about more often than not, cyber criminals. Cyber criminals have come into play because they steal your information, okay? And they use all kinds of range of techniques to spy on people and collect their information. One of the insecure Wi-Fi connections, usually in the form of a public Wi-Fi. So let's say maybe you're going to a coffee shop or, you're at a restaurant or whatever. Those networks are accessible by anyone. And since they're accessible by anyone, a cyber criminal can jump in there and get a hold of everybody's information, okay? Now, cyber criminals can set up a variety of attacks to spy on you and steal your information. And they try to do it every day. You get maybe spam phone calls and emails, that type of thing. But with a man in the middle attack, criminals actually intercept the data that you send between your device and your internet service provider. So with Wi-Fi sniffing, they call it, they grab a bunch of data and then they sift through it to pick out the things they want. So, and sometimes they actually plant malware on the Wi-Fi connection, which then gets into your device and sends them your information. It's crazy, right? So they could go to a Starbucks and put this malware there. And then when you log on to, say, a Starbucks, then it gets on your computer and then they grab your information. That's pretty scary. It makes you not want to use a network, right? But I'm going to give you ways around all this stuff in the very end, so don't worry about that. So another way a cyber criminal can gain access to your information and device in order to spy on you is phishing attacks. Phishing attacks. Now, what is a phishing attack? A phishing is when cyber criminals utilize information about a person to actually trick them into handing over personal information. It may be a password or social security numbers, bank logins, that type of thing. And they get them to download malware via infected files. And by doing so, they can grab their information. Now, phishing is also done by emails that appear to be from somebody you know, like, I don't know, your spouse or a boss or, maybe your bank or something like that. The emails may make it seem like the person is in trouble and needs money, for example, or it may seem like it's totally normal, but sometime, it's time sensitive. They may request from, your boss or something like that he needs some information. Some phishing emails convince people to hand over private information willingly. They actually give it up, while others actually will include links that lead to infected files being downloaded on the victim's computer. And that way they can get into your computer, steal all your information. Nice, huh? Nice. This is what we've come to in 2022. You got to worry about this stuff. So the next group is internet service providers. They're stealing your information too. Internet service providers, what they do is they collect, and in some cases they monitor all of the information going in and out of your internet connection, and anything that's sent over the network. Some actually compile anonymous browsing logs and they sell them to advertising companies. So, if you're browsing, certain kinds of products, and they get a whole lot of people are browsing those products, they can sell those people's emails to some advertising company, which is kind of scary. And all internet service providers are required to hand over logs of user activity if compelled to do so by law enforcement. So anything you do, if the law enforcement agency comes to your internet service provider and says, I want all the logs of everything on your network and what all the people are doing and where they went, that's kind of scary. You may want to check out where you're going to. I don't really worry about it. I don't go anywhere to, do anything wrong, but you know what? They could be misconstrued, right? The next one is advertising networks and advertising networks. Now they're using it for, I guess, positive things, but an advertising network is using something called a cookie. Okay. And what they do is they track your progress across the website. So every time you view one of their ads, you're sent a cookie and it's put on your computer. Now, you could erase this by clearing your browsing history. But what this does is this enables them to track your browsing history and deliver more and theoretically better targeted ads. Now, I bought some select blinds and I went to their website. And I can't be on YouTube for 10 minutes without seeing a select blind ad. And I almost want to call them up and say, look, I put window coverings on my entire house. I can't buy any more from you, but it's certainly, you'll notice this. If you go to a website and then you go to YouTube or you go to any of the websites you want, you're going to notice ads popping up on the side, probably from the website you just went to. So that's how they do it. And that's what they're doing. And guys, don't forget, use that chat section over there. Ask me any questions you want. But now I'd like to kind of get into what you can do to prevent some of this stuff, okay? How you can actually protect yourself a little bit. The first thing I want to tell you about, number one, is called a VPN. This is called a virtual private network. Now, what it is it's a network of devices connected to each other and a remote server via the internet. Okay, so this gets a little bit complicated, but I think you're going to get this. When you connect with a VPN, your device exchanges trusted keys with the network, which creates a secure connection. Now, all of the data is sent over the VPN is encrypted, which means you can't read it, meaning it's safe from spying eyes. Nobody can actually see it. VPNs actually allow for private browsing, as well as protection against thieves who are trying to steal your data or governments who are trying to spy on you. They also protect against spying internet service providers. So they're really good. But the cool thing about a VPN is that when you get a good one, you can change your location. Let's say, so I'm in Texas right now, but I changed my location to Australia. And in doing so, this is really cool. Let's say you have a Netflix account, you can watch different shows that you never had access to before, because based on your internet service provider's location, that's what you're going to see that's available to you. So, I could go to, let's say I'm going to be going to Rome. And if I want to watch the shows in the US, I switch my location to Texas and I can watch the same shows. But if I want to watch the ones in Rome, I'm going to be on their location there and I'll see different shows. So there's a lot of things and advantages you can do with a VPN. And I do highly recommend it, especially if you're traveling at all, especially if you're in some coffee shop or something like that. Get you a VPN. I think it's very, very important. The next thing you can do is you can install and use security software. Security software identifies and protects you against malware, which can be used to spy on you. You can get a quality software and make sure you keep it updated, but there's tons of those out there. I'm not going to recommend one. You can just Google security software for an iMac or whatever it is that you have, and I do recommend getting those. How are we doing on time here? I think we're doing all right. We're going a little bit fast today. So guys, throw in some of your questions there. Throw in some of your comments. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you've got to say. The next thing I'm going to tell you is you got to be careful. Okay. So number 3 is going to be, don't open links and emails without double checking who they are. Now, I know it's a hassle, but always double check with the sender of an email before opening any links, especially if they look a little bit shady, a little bit edgy. If you get something out of the blue that looks kind of weird from your bank or credit card company or something like that, and they're asking you to reset your password, don't do it, because what a lot of them will do is they'll send you a link to reset your password. And when you click on it, you're actually going to a page they built that looks just like your bank. And you say, well, how do they do that? Well, they could take a screenshot. I mean, it's really so easy to duplicate somebody else's page now. Then they're going to ask you to put in your password and change it. Now they've got your new password to that bank or that credit card company. So it's, don't ever do that. If you're not sure about this, how do you check? Call your credit card company, call your bank, say, I received this email. It looks suspicious to me. Did you send this out? Is this something I need to do? Because rarely will a credit card company or a bank send you something and tell you to change your password. Okay. Rarely. They're going to tell you that there's been some compromise or somebody got in their system or something like that. But you also want to make sure, like I just said, you make a phone call. Use a different communication method, okay? Maybe text or something else where you're actually communicating with them. That way, if this is a cyber criminal or this is actually your bank or your credit card company trying to communicate with you. And you're going to find probably, I would say, a good 99% of the time, it's a scam, and it's something that you want to stay away from. Good morning, Paul. Paul has just popped in. Let's see what he's got to say here. Does your security software run automatically? The one I have does run automatically, Paul. So I don't have to worry about it. And I use Malwarebytes, if you're interested. It's a good one. And I use Mac products. So that's all I use is Mac products because they're a lot more secure. I don't get viruses. I don't have any problems or anything like that. Paul's also saying, like you said, always check the sender's IP address, and that's called internet provider, guys. And when in doubt, don't open it. Yeah, I mean, you're a whole lot safer not to. If you really do need to change your password, you really do need to get in touch with your bank or your credit card company, just call the number on the back of your card. Okay, at least you know who you're talking to, and you don't have to worry about it. He says, I still don't understand why they hack Facebook pages. There was a show I watched last night, Paul. It was called The Most Hated Man on the Internet. And it was a guy who put one of these porn revenge sites up. And what he would do is he would hire people to actually hack people's cell phones, okay, and find torrid pictures of them. And then once he found the pictures of them, what he would do is he would hack their Facebook account so he could get all the normal pictures of them, all their personal information, their phone numbers, their addresses, their relatives. And then he would build a profile on the site. And I'm trying to think of the name of it now. It's no longer a revenge porn site. Gosh, I can't think of the name of it now. But anyhow, he would put all that information up there, and then it would drive a lot of traffic because people would love to go and see all these pictures of these people and know where they work and what they're doing, and then just bash him and say horrible things about him. I mean, the guy was sick. I mean, he's really sick. But that's why they do that. That's why they hack your Facebook profile. And the other reason they hack your Facebook profile is so that they can send messages to all your friends. So, if it says, Paul highly recommend, or, I'm Paul and I'm your friend, and I highly recommend this cryptocurrency. You ought to buy it. Check it out. Click this link. And you've got, 1,000, 2,000 friends. It's a way of them marketing their product to all your friends and it coming from you. So that's another reason they do that. It's pretty insidious why they do it. And it's hard for us as normal people to wrap our brains around. It's like you said, Paul, why would they do that? Because you don't know what they're really doing because you don't have a criminal mindset. But criminals do have a criminal mindset. And they're doing their darndest to get to all your friends and family and everything and make whatever offer they have look credible. Okay, so that's another reason they do it. So yeah, that's one of the things they do. The other thing you can do is you can actually, for number 4, if you're writing these things down, is disable third-party cookies. Now, you can keep advertising companies from tracking you by disabling these what's called third-party cookies on your browser. And most browsers is pretty easy to do. All you have to do is Google disable third-party cookies. I can't talk. All you have to do is Google disable third-party cookies. And most browsers, whether it's Google Chrome or it's Firefox, I'm on Firefox right now, whatever it is, they're going to tell you how to do that. So, that's one thing you can do. Now, I don't do that because, I do want to see the ads that pertain to what I'm interested in. I don't want to see ads that don't pertain to what I'm interested in. I mean, it only makes sense, right? But if you don't want to see any ads, you can certainly do that. The next thing you can do is you can use what's called ad blockers. Now, ad blockers also keep advertisers from tracking you around the web and spying on you. Plus, they mean you don't have to see any annoying ads. I like ads. I want to see ads. And the reason I guess I want to see ads is different than most people. It's not because I want to buy a whole bunch of products. It's because I want to see what's working out there. I want to see how people are advertising. I want to see what, if I see the same ad over and over, maybe it's something that I want to, simulate and do an ad similar to it. So yes, people are spying on you and they're doing it online. They're doing it every single day. It's the government, it's advertisers, it's hackers, it's, all kinds of people are doing it, cyber criminals. They're all doing it for different reasons. Maybe they want to advertise to you. Maybe they want to steal your information to get into your bank account. Maybe they want to get into your Facebook ad account and send spam out to all your friends so that they can sell their products. There's so many reasons that they're doing this to you guys. But guys, understand that they are doing it and they're doing it every single day. And these are things that you really, really have to watch out for. There's a lot of softwares out there now that you can get, like I said, to protect against this. But I do think that we need to take steps in that direction. I do think that's really, really important. I'm getting ready to do some traveling now. I'm going to be in Vegas next month. I'll be at Zoo World, and it has nothing to do with zoos, by the way. It's a pet convention with thousands upon thousands of people, and my wife does dog training, so we're going to be there for that. And I'm going to use a VPN for all these things. I personally want to protect my information, so I'm going to use a VPN. Now, sometimes people don't like VPNs. Now, I'm going to give you some of the downsides to it. Sometimes it blocks you from getting to things. Sometimes it makes it more difficult to download things. And what I would suggest you do is you try some different VPNs. Figure out which one works for you, because not all of them work for everybody equally. Sometimes it causes you problems. But overall, it's going to protect you. Now, in September, the following month, we're going to be in Rome. When in Rome, right? Whatever that saying is. But, I'm going to also use a VPN there because I'm going to be on a foreign network. And I may want to log into Netflix and I may want to watch the shows I normally watch in Texas. The only way I'm going to be able to do that is change my location to Texas, which you can do with a VPN. I mentioned this earlier. If you weren't on the call earlier, when you have a VPN, you can change your physical location and Netflix is going to think you're in a different location. It's going to show you different programs that you can actually watch. Paul's got a comment on there. Let me grab this one here. I've been watching a guy on YouTube who deleted spammers files. I'm surprised the feds haven't set up a cybersecurity force to combat the problem. I have seen India cracking down, but not Pakistan. There's so much of it, Paul. It's like, if you catch one guy, there's 1,000 more that just pop up. So, they do it by numbers. They just figure, I'll do this for a while, then I'll close this and I'll open another one. I'll do it for a while. For a while, we had a real rash, and this is a horrible story, of people calling us saying, hey, I ordered your product 2 months ago and I never got anything. And we would say, well, do you have a confirmation email? Do you have an order number? These order numbers didn't even make sense. And what it turned out to be is there were these people in different countries that were making fake sites that looked identical to ours, saying they were Survivalcave food, selling the product to these people, and then telling the people they were taking advantage of the fact that deliveries were slow and there was low supply of stuff. And what they would do is tell people, it's probably going to be 2 months before you see the product. So that way the people would just wait 2 months and not do anything. And they could keep ripping off more and more people. Then at the 2 month mark, they would just shut down the site and keep all that money and never send anybody anything. And it was really sad. We got a lot of elderly people that were calling us. And the other thing they would do is, like, we would have a product for, let's say, $300. They would make a fake site and sell that product for $99. So that people were kind of, being taken in by, wow, that's such a great deal. And then they would give them a whole bunch of bonus things and all this. But none of this stuff ever showed up because they didn't have any products. They weren't selling anything. They were just ripping people off. And I would say a good 99.9% of them were through PayPal. And I don't know how PayPal let it slip through. But I talked to a couple of these people and they said they went back to PayPal and PayPal wouldn't give their money back. I'm like, wow. I mean, it was obviously a ripoff. It was obviously something that somebody did that was, untoward, but sure enough. Is there a VPN for cell phone services? It works the same. There's no difference. Now, it's not for your phone calls and that type of thing. A VPN is a virtual private network. So VPN works on your internet connection. So whatever internet connection you have, a VPN will work on your phone too, but it's not like going to, protect your phone calls or anything like that. That's not how it works. It has to do with if you're using the internet. So anything you're using the internet for, but certainly, like, I use NordVPN, and NordVPN will work on my laptop. It'll work on my tablet. It'll work on my cell phone, all of them. It works on all of them. So you don't have to worry about that. And it works really, really well. And I've got a couple minutes here. I finished up a little bit early today, guys. If you have any questions on anything you want to talk about, it doesn't have to be related to spying on you, but I thought this was really good information that could be helpful. If you thought this information was helpful, let me know. Put that in the comment section, put it in the chat section if you're watching live. And I do want to remind you one more time, don't forget to subscribe. Those subscriptions mean so much to us, guys. They really do. I was talking to my wife yesterday, and we were talking about why we do what we do. And what I mean is, like, why am I making this video? Why am I talking to you guys? Why do I have a survival food company? Why do we do what we do? And I think the best explanation for her, because she says, why do you make videos every week? So, well, that's a good question. Why do I make videos every week? And I said, well, it's to help people, really. It's to help people because I'm at the stage now where we've made some good money, and I can pay my bills and all that good stuff. But it's really just to help people, to share information. Paul says, who do you recommend besides PayPal for doing a retail sales? And if you're talking about processing credit cards, I would recommend anybody other than PayPal for running credit cards, if that's what you're talking about. PayPal will actually let you run credit card charges through there. I like authorize.net. I've had authorize.net for well over 10 years. And we have some big sales. We can have somebody who spends $50,000 or $60,000 on a credit card and it sails right on through. There's no way you could do that in PayPal. They would probably shut down your account. They would think it was fraud. So I like authorize.net. Like I said, I've had them for years and years and years, and they've been really good for me. There's some other good ones out there. I also have Stripe. I've had Stripe for a number of years. Stripe is very good. Stripe costs a touch more than authorize.net, but they're pretty transparent. You know what you're getting with Stripe. And here's the truth. I also use Google Pay, and I think we have Amazon Pay, and you almost got to offer all this stuff. When it comes to actually processing credit cards, you want a good provider like authorize.net. when it comes to other ways of getting paid, whether it's a Venmo or whatever, the more ways you can offer it. We have, I think it's a firm on our website now where somebody can take a product and they can make 3 payments on it with no interest. It's interest free. I actually pay a fee to a firm to do that. But, you know, offering all those payments is really, really, really helpful. If you can do that, the more ways you have for somebody to pay, the more people you're going to kind of capture in your ecosystem. So that's what I would recommend. Let's see here. We've got another one here. Okay. So where's lunch this week? Looking forward to seeing Italy post. Yeah. We actually have a very cool place today. We're going to a Korean K-pop place. Yeah, I said Korean K-pop. So I don't know, you know, when I film in there, the audio may get jinxed because of the fact that they're going to be playing some kind of K-pop music, and I'm sure it's, you know, copyrighted or whatever. But it's one of these places where you actually cook the food yourself. They bring it out raw and you cook it. It's kind of funny that you pay more for that, but you do. You pay more when you have to cook it. But it's a pretty famous place. There's several of them around the country. I don't want to say what it is until after I've been there. But yeah, let's see here. Let me get over here and click. How's dehydrated product line coming? I have a hold on that right now, Paul, just because we're so busy with other stuff. You know, we can't fill all the orders that we're getting right now. And we're so busy with that. I can't work on that right now. That's something that's going to have to be on hold until I get caught up with the other stuff. And we've been so incredibly busy. In the past few days, we've been interviewing pet sitters. We have somebody come stay at our house, obviously for protection, but I also have a retired FBI agent on one side of my house and an Apple executive on the other side of my house, and they watch my house constantly. So I don't have to worry about that stuff. And the person staying here is going to be a neighbor here in the neighborhood. So we don't have to worry about that. But we've been interviewing people, talked to a bunch of people. Yeah, because my dog, just so you know, Kim, and I don't know where she's at right now. I would bring her up here she's the cutest thing in the world. She doesn't like to be alone. She doesn't like to be alone. I mean, like for 5 minutes in a room, if you leave a room, she's going to come looking for you, let alone overnight. So I can't leave her overnight. I can't have somebody come in and check on her and feed her and then leave. She needs people here. So we have to have somebody living at the house. That's just the way it is. So yeah, I think we're nearing our session today and nearing the end of our session. Let me get a sip of water here real quick. I bought these really cool mugs at Costco the other day. They weigh like a ton. They're called Reduce. I guess it means waste. So I don't drink out of water bottles all day, which is what I was doing. And they keep everything cold. I mean, the ice at the end of the day is still there. I fill it up in the morning. At the end of the day, it's still there. Shout out to Costco. Yeah, Costco always has some good deals and stuff. It's really cool. Now, let's see. I got another comment here. Paul says, have a great weekend, gang. Hope everyone is growing business. And Paul, I hope you're doing well. I know you had some health issues. Hope everything's going well there. Keep me posted as to what's going on. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Turn that red button to gray by clicking it. Simple thing to do. You just click it. See, there's my mouse right there. Nice wireless mouse, Apple, good stuff. And don't forget to ring the bell. A bell will pop up once you subscribe. You need to ring it. And what I mean by ring it is really you don't ring it at all. You click on it and you turn on all notifications. That way you're notified every time I go live or if I upload a video. Yeah. And a thumbs up. The thumbs up, guys, matter. You can't imagine how much this matters. I didn't realize it, but it matters a whole lot. So make sure you give me a thumbs up. I don't see any in there, so you got to grab some, guys. Everybody just give me a thumbs up on this video. And if you've given me a thumbs up on another video, it doesn't apply to this one. You got to do it on every single video. So everybody on here right now, hit that thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. And if you hit that thumbs up button, I can promise you today you won't step in dog poop. It won't happen. Now, I've heard, and I don't know if it's true, but I've heard people who don't smash that thumbs up button will end up stepping in dog poop sometime during the day once I've asked you to do it and you haven't done it. Okay. Now, this is absolutely true. This is not made up. So you do want to hit that thumbs up button there. It will matter a whole lot. Okay, guys, have a great weekend. Okay. Don't believe all the BS I tell you. Don't do that. Okay. That would be ridiculous. You guys have a great weekend. Love you. Talk to you on Monday. I'll be back on Monday. See you then.